I'm Eric Wolf, and my experience in business peer groups has changed my life, especially my membership in Vistage, one of the world's largest CEO advisory groups. I'm an entrepreneur, a business owner, and a Vistage speaker on the power of marketing. This podcast is dedicated to the people who make those experiences possible, the peer group chairs. Every episode, I interview a Vistage Chair who has dedicated their time to helping entrepreneurs like me succeed. My guest today is, and this is one I'm so super excited for because I've known this fellow for a number of years now. Really terrific guy, Joe White. Welcome, Coach.
Well, thanks for having me, Eric. This is going to be fun. I've really been looking forward to doing this.
You are one of my favorite Vistage coaches or chairs. Got to know you. You were what do they call it when you're like the apprentice?
Well, I had a mentor chair, and my
Chair.
mentor chair was
Yes.
Rex Wiederspawn, which is your chair. And Rex was amazing to work with and helping me get my chair practice launched, and everything else was just a great person to watch and view from afar and from near to kind of really figure out what this chairing was all about.
And it was so amazing. And we've definitely had, a few people come through. You were just an amazing person to have in the room with us every month. It was your energy was always just so incredible. So I really always appreciated you, and I'm just so glad every time I get to run into you.
Oh, thank you. It's right back at you. I when you spoke, it was like I just kind of dropped everything and listened because I learned so much from you, and that's what this is all about: is to keep learning, growing, and progressing as people. And everyone's a teacher, right? Everyone's a teacher for us, and we can learn from everyone. So
We talk a lot about on this podcast about all of the various paths that people take to ultimately end up becoming Vistage chairs. And your path, dare I say, is one of the more unique ones that I have encountered. And I think that's saying something at this point. I've done close to 50 of these interviews. So you came, you were an athlete. You were drafted not by one, but by two different Major League Baseball teams. You actually got some playing time in the Seattle Mariners organization, and your career was unfortunately sidelined by a shoulder injury. What, by the way, what position did you play?
I was a pitcher, and
Yeah. Oh well, the shoulder
yeah,
probably that
yeah,
did it for you.
yeah, that was it. I was fortunate. I got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds after my junior year of college. I had a goal to graduate in 4 years, and I didn't sign. I went back and played my fourth year and got drafted by the Mariners after my senior year, and graduated and then got drafted a week later. So it was a culmination of some goal setting and so forth that helped me get there. But I had thrown so much in college, my shoulder was it was really bad at the time. And that's my only regret. I never got to pitch in pro baseball healthy. I wish I could have been able to do that, but that's the way it goes. I had a marketing degree, so I fell back on that.
How far did you progress in the minors?
Just in single A. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
made it to single A, and I went to spring training, and I finally just had to have surgery on my shoulder. And this is a true story. When I woke up from surgery, the first thing the surgeon said to me was, "You can't play anymore. It's too far gone." And back then, they couldn't do some things they can do now. But he said he would have had to tear my shoulder apart to get to the tear in my labrum. And so that was it. I woke up and that was it. The dream was over. But I'd set myself up pretty good for the next chapter.
And you became a baseball coach, a football coach. You were coach of the year twice. You were regional coach of the year. You were part of 5 state championship teams, and you were also teaching business, and then a Vistage chair.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a wild ride.
so I would love to hear Because not only were you a coach, but you were a very well regarded coach, and someone who I understand is, you're a little bit of a legend in your little sphere. So I would love to hear about becoming, so you ended up having to wash out of baseball, but you created this really great thing about afterwards. I would love to hear that story.
Yeah. So when I got done with baseball, when the surgeon told me that, it took me a while to find my next job. It was a lot harder than I thought, leaving the athletic world, missing the locker room, missing the team, and so forth. But I went to work for a company called Beatrice Hunt Wesson, a big food company, and my job was to call on 127 grocery stores from Palo Alto to Carmel, California, and it wasn't a great. It was a good job. I
The
enjoyed.
vegetable oil people.
Yeah, and that's what
Okay.
my job was, is to go in the grocery stores and make sure that our products were on the shelves of the stores that they were supposed to be on. And so I was going into 7, 8 stores a day, doing a store check, making sure everything was there. And the store managers really didn't like us being in their stores, telling them, "Hey, you're missing this two facings of Wesson cooking oil here, and you need to have it up there." And I went to a store in Palo Alto, California, Eric, and the store manager wouldn't shake my hand when I came in to introduce myself. I did my store check. I went back, gave him my report. He took my report, wouldn't shake my hand. He walked down the aisle. I watched him walk down the aisle. He went into his office, crumpled up the piece of paper I'd given him, and thrown it in the trash. And I was like, I'm done. I didn't feel like I was doing anything for anybody. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. And they offered me a promotion or raise, and I turned it down, gave my car keys back, and I went back to school and became a teacher and a coach, like you said, and lived my purpose and passion for 30 years. I loved it. The opportunity to get kids ready for the real world was something that I cherished doing, and it was a lot of fun, and it was very enjoyable. We had some really good teams, and I enjoyed teaching business. I taught business law and accounting and professional business and so forth. And like you said, was the head baseball coach and a defensive coordinator in football for 30 years, and just a lot of fun. It was a lot of great relationships, and that's what life is about, is building relationships. And I retired in 19. And when I retired, I read a stat, Eric, that 70% of Americans are disengaged at work. And 85% of those 70 say it's because of the leadership they work for. And I had just gotten done doing 30 years of a purpose and passion that I loved. And I can't imagine someone going to work 8 to 12 hours a day and not wanting to be there. And that really kind of struck me. So I wrote a book called The Three Ps: Finding Your Purpose, Perspective, and Passion. And love speaking. I love going out and speaking to companies and organizations about this and so forth. And I met with a Vistage speaker. And after we met, she went home and nominated me to be a chair. And it didn't
Who
really.
was the speaker?
Corinne Hancock.
Okay.
She was the Vistage Speaker of the Year last year. She has since moved to Africa and joined the Peace Corps
Oh
and
wow.
is doing Peace Corps work now. She's an amazing lady. And they called me and said, "You've been nominated to be a chair." And I called Rex, because I had met with Rex before, didn't really know what Rex did, to be honest with you. And then found out one of my best friends from college was working for Vistage, and then found out that my son's girlfriend's uncle worked for Vistage. And I was kind of like, this is kind of a God thing. So I jumped in, and it's been a challenging ride for me. The marketing sales part of it's been a little hard for me. I've never sold before, and it does take some selling, but the coaching part of it and the running the groups part of it and so forth has really come into its own. I really feel comfortable with it now, and it's really a lot of fun.
So you part of this unconventional journey that you have had is that you were a leader of student athletes. You were a leader on the field. You were a leader in the classroom, and you had not been a business leader.
Yeah,
And and it's an interesting and in some ways courageous path for you to take, to say, no, I'm going to I'm going to teach you what I know, and it's going to be valuable.
It's been a crazy journey. When I first started, there was a ton of imposter syndrome because I'm sitting in this room with all these chairs, and all these chairs are, ex CEOs or business owners, and so forth. And Rex came to me and he said, "Hey, you've been building teams your whole life. You can. This is what you're supposed to do." And it really helped me figure some things out. And then I read a book, Eric, that really helped me. One of the chairs put me onto this book called The $1 Trillion Coach, and it's by a guy by it's the book is about a guy named Bill Campbell. And Bill Campbell, long story short, used to be a head football coach and then became the number one business executive coach in Silicon Valley.
Oh, wow.
He was Steve Jobs' coach and so forth, using his athletic background to coach in the business world. And when I read that book, just kind of freed me up. It's like, you know how to lead people, and how leadership goes, and so forth, in terms of people. It doesn't matter if it's a business or athletics or your family or whatever it might be. Leadership is leadership. Now there's some strategic things and so forth that need to be done, but it's about people. It's about relationships, and it taught me that, and it kind of freed me up. And it's been kind of a more freeing ride since then. But I do bring a different perspective. I do bring a lot of my athletic analogies into my coaching, in my business executive coaching and so forth, and I love doing it.
What have been the things that you found are that translate directly from the locker room to business coaching?
For me, it's, to be honest with you, it's the leadership, it's the team building, it's working together, it's supporting each other. I don't call my Vistage groups, I call them teams. A group of people is a bunch of people standing in line at Safeway or a grocery store. A team is a bunch of people who care about each other, support each other, want to see each other do well, help each other do well, and are excited when they do well.
And
When
working
they
with a purpose.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And so building these teams of people to help each other and support each other. You guys go through so many things. As a business owner, it can get pretty lonely up there at the top. And when you have a team of people that you can go to once a month and talk to, and get that support and have questions and get questions answered, and so forth, it's really a powerful, powerful thing. And it's been so fun to watch these transitions, and watching these teams come together and work together. And the first one I saw was your team, Eric. I mean, when I used to go to your group when I was first trying to launch, and watching how excited you guys were when you saw each other when you first walked into the meeting, it's like that's when it really kind of hit me. It's like, this is more than just a group. This is a team of people that really like to see each other, and they rely on each other, and that's really powerful.
Well, and baseball in a way is um, it's interesting because it is a team game, but when you're out there on the mound, and and they give you that baseball, you're out there by yourself,
Yeah,
and you've got to make that happen. And when the batter comes in and steps in to face you, that person is also by himself in that moment,
yeah.
and having to so baseball is interesting because it has a lot of team in it, but it also has some of that lonely quality that I think a lot of CEOs and business leaders experience.
I can tell you it's very lonely when you throw a pitch and the guy hits it out over the
Oh,
fence.
yes.
And you're standing out there and all the crowd's there. And, I've pitched in front of 7,000 people before. And it's like, when that happens and you're standing out there all by yourself with a you might as well have a big sign on, "I just failed," and it's like, it is a team game, but I loved the competition part between me and the hitter. I miss that so much. It, I tell people this all the time. There were people who were just as good as me, or better than me, who didn't make it as far as me. I just outcompeted them. I
Right.
loved competing. I loved that one on one. I truly did. I've had to really back off of that competing thing in my life now because it's kind of wore me down. But you're right. I mean, standing out there, if a deal goes bad for you, you're the one, right? And
Yeah,
if I throw a pitch and it hits over the fence, I'm the one who threw it. So, it's there are so many analogies that you can bring with sports and business that people miss out on. And that's really, Eric, the reason I coached was to get my kids ready. My players who I coached and the people I taught, my job was to get them ready to come work for you someday, right? So I use the game of baseball and the game of football to use analogies in those games to get them ready to come out and be a business owner or work for a business someday and be a good community member and so forth. That's the joy of watching your players now, tw-
right.
15, 20 years after I coached them and what they're doing. That's what's so fun.
There's I've discovered that it's actually relative. It's pretty common. There are a lot of Vistage chairs who cut their teeth as a leader in some role in the military.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
actually, we've got quite a few Vistage chairs that had not just some military experience, but a lot of military experience and a full career in the military, and they talk a lot about how they translated the leadership that they learned in those roles into being a good chair and being a good business leader. Um, what's it like for What's it like for you when you're and it? I'm curious about the commonalities in basically teaching and coaching kids
I
versus coming into the room of, hey, this is a room of not only adults but adults that have had a certain level of success in their careers.
yeah, and that I'll be honest with you, that intimidated me at first. And it really did. And until I realized, you know what, these people, they, I call it CPC, Eric. I call it coaching. You coach it, you practice it, and you challenge it. So when I was a coach, that's what I would do. I'd coach a player how to field a ground ball. Then
Yep.
we would practice that over and over and over and over. And then I would challenge it some way. Like if you don't field five in a row perfect, then you got 10 push ups or whatever it might be, just to challenge it. And I realized that this isn't different. These people need to be challenged. And when you challenge people, this is what I want people to understand about leadership. And this is where I think a lot of leaders in business and sports and everything, they do the first two. They coach it and they practice it, but they never get to the challenge part of it. And then when their people can't perform under pressure, that's when they get frustrated and mad with their people.
Yep.
And it's like you have to challenge these people, and they're going to fail, and you got to coach them back through it, practice them back through it, and challenge them again. But that's
And
what I
you've got to allow
realized
them to fail.
exactly, and that's what this is about. And it doesn't matter if I'm coaching baseball or if I'm coaching an executive. I'm trying to coach them, practice it, but I'm really trying to challenge them by asking good questions to them. I don't want to solve problems for people. I want them to solve their own problem. And by asking good questions to get them to certain places is really how I've always done it in coaching. In when I was coaching sports, or if I'm coaching a business executive, those questions, those powerful questions that get people to reflect and think, is that's really what my job is. And my other job is to make sure that the people I'm working with don't have regret. That's a big thing for me. I want people to fear regret. So they're going to do everything in their processes to win the process so they don't have regret at the end. And that's done by challenging them. And it's been a, when you said, how did I make it from doing high school kids to business executives? It was hard at first because I had that imposter syndrome. And now that I see how it meshes and so forth, it's no different. And I enjoy that every day. And if people don't like me challenging and whatever, then that's okay, because that's where the growth happens.
Right.
And the reason I challenge people is because I believe they can do it. And as a business leader, when you don't challenge people, you're telling them subconsciously that you don't believe that they can do it. And that's not how we grow.
What's been the what's been the hardest part of or maybe not the I don't want to say that we've already talked a bit about the challenges that you've had. What's been the most rewarding part is how I'll
Oh
ask
wow.
that of transitioning from coaching sports to coaching business leaders.
Um, when the light bulb turns on, uh, when I ask those challenging questions and people think through it and they reflect back on things, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes on, and you know that you've helped them turn their light bulb on. That's the most rewarding part for me because I know when the light bulb goes on, they just have experienced growth. And my job is to help you grow. My job is to help you keep learning, growing, and progressing. And if I can turn on that light bulb by asking good questions to you and challenging you in a good, positive, challenging way, and that light bulb goes on, man, that's rewarding. And I'll tell you another thing that's really rewarding in doing this chairing is after a meeting's over, after I've watched all the business people in the meeting from different industries and so forth, business CEOs, owners, executive, whatever they might be, helping each other through an issue that one of them might have, and watching how they dive deep into it, but how they truly, truly, truly want to help each other. That is so rewarding to watch because 6 months ago they might not even have known each other, right? But we've built a team now that really is impactful for each other. And when you have impactfulness for each other and you watch each other and you get as much value helping someone else as you do someone else helping you, that is really rewarding to watch.
Um, that was a terrific answer, and I'm curious. The thing that kept floating in my head as you were talking about that. Um, are meeting days like game days for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the same?
That's
Is
such
it
a
the
good
same? Is it the
analogy.
same mentality?
It really truly is. Now that you say that, because when I pitched, when I was a pitcher and it was my turn to pitch, man, the butterflies and the nervousness and everything else was huge that day. And I always said to myself, I don't want to ever feel that again, because it was just so much to handle. But
It's
now that I'm
stressful.
doing this again and I've played, coach in state championship games and stuff, I know that feeling. And you're right. It's 100% right. I've never thought of it until you just said that. That's exactly what it is. I go into those meetings and I'm uptight and nervous and trying to get everything set and make sure everything's perfect for everybody and make sure because I want it to go so well for everyone. I want all our members of our team to get so much value walking out of there compared to when they walked in there. And that's so important to me. So yeah, that's a good analogy to say because I do get nervous, I do get uptight and everything as the meeting goes on, and or especially before the meeting, I get there really early and try to get prepared and all this stuff so that the meeting can go perfect for everyone. It's not going to, I realize that, but I just want the value to flow, just flow. That's such a good analogy. Thank
What's
you.
the what's the best lesson that you've had a member teach you?
To relax and to believe in myself, to let go of the negative talk in my brain that I don't belong here because I didn't come from so called this world. Even though I taught business, even though I ran teams, even though I built an organization, even though I did all that stuff, that negative self talk of sitting in a room with Eric and he's built a huge marketing company that's killing it out there and everything else, and I haven't been through that particular thing, and somebody just said you got to give that up. We're in your. This is exactly what they said. They said we're in your on this team because of you, because of what you bring to this team. We're not on this team because you weren't, that you were a big business person or CEO or big time exec. We're on this team because of what you bring and the uniqueness of the coaching that you bring and so forth. And once he said that to me, I'm like, wow, I'm free. I'm free.
Very cool. Did you ever get a Gatorade shower as a coach?
Yeah, I did. Well, it wasn't Gatorade; it was actually water.
Oh, okay.
We won the state championship in 2013. Our baseball team did, and I was standing there talking to my dad afterwards. As my dad's my hero, and I was sitting there on the field talking to my dad, and all of a sudden they got me from behind. It's actually a picture on my website. It's the main picture on my website. So
Very
it's
cool.
yeah, it was cool. The guys who did it, the kids who did it, are special to me too. I mean, I still have a pretty darn good relationship with all those guys.
Coach, I've really enjoyed talking to you. You are, and I can tell you firsthand, you absolutely have a lot to offer. Your insight in all of the time that I got to know you when you were hanging out in our group, just incredible. And I know that your members are super super lucky to have you. Um, so if people have questions, if they want to know um, about your groups, if they want to know about your history as a coach, if they want to know what it's like to hoist a proper championship trophy, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is just joe.white@vistagechair.com. And I have a website. It's just Coach Joe White 97 Consulting is my website. And either way, you can get a hold of me. I love talking. I love speaking as well. It's another part that I do. I love to present and speak. I got John Gordon certified recently in power positive teams, power positive leadership, the energy bus. So there's a lot of different things that I love to do, and just trying to make people's day better. I just want to be a blessing in people's lives. That's it.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you,
I
Eric. Thanks for having me on. You're awesome. I need to come visit your group again and see you guys.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
do. Well,
special group of people.
everyone would love to see you.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Talk to you soon, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Have a good day, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Chairwaves. You can subscribe to our feed using Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your platform of choice. You can also visit chairwaves.com for more information. Chairwaves is hosted and produced by me, Eric Wolf, and to connect with me, you can visit my website at ewolf.live. That's EWOLF.live. And a disclaimer, while I love Vistage and CEO peer groups, this podcast is not owned by or affiliated with Vistage or any other peer organization. Thanks for listening.